Welcome back to the Money List. In this video, we are going to look at a uranium stock that is a low cap stock that nobody's talking about. And I just discovered it through a message board alert, option alert that I got. And we're going to discuss why I'm so bullish on this trade, why I think it's a 20 to 100% no-brainer gain over the next several months and definitely by the end of 2026. And why I'm going to be flipping in and out of this stock for the next 3 years under the Trump administration. And we're going to compare the stock to two of its competitors. And we're going to look at the stock's financials, the upcoming catalysts, and then at the end of the video, we're going to look at the trade, the strike price, the expiration date, everything. And I'm going to show you the trade that I just placed because I'm so bullish on this. So before we get started, there's a couple of announcements. It is now 2026, so Happy New Year. And I'm going to be producing about 2 to 3 videos a week versus my 1 video every 10 days. So I'm increasing my video production. So if you like my videos and you like my strategy, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button. And also be sure to check the shorts playlist because all of these videos I cut up into shorts, and some days I may post 2 videos a day, a long video and a short video, so you may get 2 notifications, but I will at least post 1 video every day. That is my goal, whether it's a long or a short. I'm also going to start making videos about option alerts that I get, whether I'm bullish on the trade or bearish on the trade, because I think it's interesting when someone places a 10,000 contract order for a call option or a put option. So basically, get ready for a lot of videos in 2026. And my last announcement is my other 2 channels if you're interested. One of them is a homeless helper channel where I go around helping homeless people. And the other channel is a Bible preaching channel where I preach the Bible. So if you're interested in these topics, the links to the channels are in the description. With that said, let's get started with this video because I'm very excited about this stock. Okay, so what is this low cap uranium stock that I just discovered from an option alert that I got, and why am I so bullish on it? So the stock is Encore Energy Corp, ticker EU, and it's a uranium company. And if you don't know, uranium is necessary for the AI infrastructure build out because uranium helps supply nuclear energy. So uranium is necessary for energy production. And we all know that energy is going to get more expensive. It's probably going to be shut off at times. And there's going to have to be other forms of energy other than electricity. And we all know that ChatGPT's Sam Altman, he is investing in a nuclear energy company called Oklo. So we can foresee during Trump's presidency that nuclear energy is on the table. That's why uranium is necessary for the rest of the Trump administration. And if the Republicans take over the presidency after Trump, it's going to remain hot. And we also know that 44% of the uranium imported to the United States originates from Russia, Kazakhstan, and Uzbekistan. And we all know that Trump does not want to rely on these countries. That's why uranium is hot right now, lithium is hot right now, all your metals and all your mining stocks are hot right now. And all of these companies contribute to the AI infrastructure play, which I'm super bullish on, and that's one of the major themes of this channel. So I have many videos coming about all of these stocks. With that said, let's look at Encore Energy's financials and let's compare it to 2 of its peers. So I can make the case that Encore is undervalued. And that's why I think it's going to double over the next 12 to 18 months. And I mean easily double. Okay, so now let's compare Encore to two of its peers. And I picked a large market cap company and a middle market cap company. So Encore is the small cap, then there's a mid cap, and then there's a large cap. And the large cap is the best of breed. So we're going to talk about that one last. So before we go to the second market cap company, let's look at the champion of this video, which is the smallest market cap, and it's Encore Energy Corp. Ticker EU, and we see that it's listed on NASDAQ, it's in the energy sector, and it's a uranium stock. And we see that the market cap is 500 million. And I challenge you to find me another uranium company with a smaller market cap. I don't think it's possible. And we also see that Encore Energy is located in Texas. This is important because I do not like investing in companies overseas. I'm all about America, I'm all about Trump, and I'm all about Trump's policies until he's not president. So this company is going to fall under Trump's policies, and I'm bullish on that. So now let's quickly look at its competitors to see what price to sales they are trading at. Okay, so we see here the average industry, which is listed here, is a 71 price to sales. Are you kidding me? That is astronomically high. And I will prove this point throughout the video, that Encore is undervalued. So forget about the price to book, forget about the return on equity because they're all negative, and forget about the price to earnings because all of them either have no earnings or they're super high, like 300, and that is ridiculously high. So with that said, we go back to Encore Energy and we see their price to sales. And look at this, 11.5 and a price to book of 2. Are you kidding me with that? That right there seals the deal compared to what we just saw as the sector average. But let's look further into the financials. So we go to Encore's balance sheet and we see that their total assets are 442 million and their total liabilities are 193 million. So this number is more than double this number, which puts us at 249 million in equity, which is good for this type of company. And we will see throughout the video, it's much better than its competitors. And we also see that their assets have grown year over year, which was at 87 million in 2024 and now at 129 million. So it's growing from here to here. These 2 quarters were stale, probably because Trump did not initiate any laws, but now he is, because we see the jump from here to here. So this next quarter must be higher in my opinion. So overall, this is good for the balance sheet. Next, we go to the income statement to see the revenue. And I will admit, this does look a little bit strange because you had 58 million in 2024, then a big drop off, another big drop off, and then a slight increase. So the year over year is significantly lower. However, their operating expenses did go down significantly from 130 million to 22 million year over year. So I'm expecting this quarter to be around 20,000 or higher. It must be. And if the operating costs stay the same, that will be a 100% quarterly growth. And Wall Street and investors are going to love this. And they're also going to love the net income, which has significantly increased year over year. We see a negative 61 million, a negative 24 million, a negative 6 million, and a negative 4 million. All we have to see is this number go lower this next report. And if we see the diluted earnings per share decrease by 1 cent, that will be a positive catalyst as well. And we see year over year, negative 0.34, negative 0.13, negative 0.03, and flat here. So we just need to see a negative 0.02 here. That's it. And if that number comes in better, that will be even greater. Next, we go to the cash flow statement, and we see that Encore financed 104 million this last quarter, which was was significantly higher than the prior quarter and the prior quarter. And after financing $104 million, they are ending with $100 million in cash. And keep in mind, their operating costs are only $22 million. So with this $100 million from the financing, they are probably going to invest $80 million in ramping up production, probably because Trump is allowing them to do something with his laws and his policies. And we see from the prior 4 quarters that they have never had $100 million in cash, ever. So overall, with Encore's financials, I like it over the next 3 quarters. I like it for 2026. And when I see something fishy, I will let you know. But for now, it's a green light. With that said, let's now move on to the next example, which is the middle cap company. The mid-cap company is Energy Fuels, ticker UUUU. And this company is all over the news right now, unlike Encore, which nobody's talking about. So let's take a quick look at Energy Fuels financials. Okay, so we go to Energy Fuels, ticker UUUU, and the first thing we see is a $3.5 billion market cap, which is about 10 times higher than Encore Energy. Then we scroll down to the valuation and we see that it's a 50x price to sales versus Encore's 11. And the price to book is 5.6 versus Encore's 1.7. So this is significantly higher than Encore's. And everyone's talking about this company and nobody's talking about Encore. Why? Next we go to Energy Fuels income statement and we see that their revenue for the past 4 quarters is about the same as Encore's, which is about $90 million. And their operating costs are double at $44 million versus Encore's $22 million. So they have the same revenue, but Encore's operating costs are half better. And then we see that Energy Fuels negative earnings per share are 0.07 versus Encore's are 0.03. So once again, Encore's is half better. So with the same revenue as Encore's, why is Energy Fuels valued at $3.5 billion? This tells me Energy Fuels is overvalued, Encore's is undervalued. So we see that Energy Fuels market cap is $3.5 billion. Encore market cap is $446 million. So I can foresee that Encore will be a billion-dollar valuation, and then 2, and then 3. With that said, let's now look at the large market cap uranium company, which is the best of breed in my opinion. And if you know another uranium company that you think is good, make a comment on the ticker and maybe I will do a video on it, or let's start a discussion about it because I'm always looking for new trades. So let's now look at Cameco, ticker CCJ, which has a $39 billion market cap. Okay, so this is Cameco, ticker CCJ. This is the one that both of the companies that I just described are aspiring to be, because Cameco is a $42 billion market cap and they have positive earnings per share of 0.87 and their PE is 105, but the industry average was 300, so this is not too shabby. And the only problem I have with Cameco is that it's based in Canada, Saskatoon, SK, which is Canada. So I would rather bet on a US company, but it doesn't mean that I'm not trading Cameco. And I did flip it earlier in the month for about a 10% profit. So I'm gonna wait for a pullback and see if I can catch it at a lower price. Next, we see that Cameco's price to sales are 17 versus Energy Fuels was 43 and Encore's was 11. So once again, Encore has room to grow. Energy Fuels is overvalued, and this Cameco 17 is fairly valued or a good value, but it's not a great value. And then we see the price to book is 8.6, which is higher than Energy's 5 and much higher than Encore's 1.7. And then when we go to Cameco's income statement, 1.1 billion, 789 million, 877 million, million and 615 million. So all of this is about a 3.2 billion. But look at their high operating costs. And when we see their net income, we saw 0 for the last quarter. I don't know why it showed a positive earnings per share. And one can even say that they are overvalued because their diluted earnings per share are 0. So why is this earnings per share positive 0.87? I don't know. But with 3.5 billion in revenue, they have enough revenue to be best of breed. That's why they command a $42 billion market cap. But yes, I do believe they are slightly overvalued. And that brings me back to Encore's undervaluation. So with all that said, Encore's market cap is 446 million. Energy Fuels is 3.5 billion and Cameco is 39 billion. So in my opinion, Encore has a lot of room to grow and may be undervalued because of the 10x price to sales, which is the lowest out of all three of them. And they could be a few quarters away from posting a positive earnings per share. With that said, let's look at the option alert that I got, which blew my mind. Okay, so this is the option alert that I got for EU, Encore Energy. And look at this. The person placed a $15,000 order contract. That is way above average. If this was a $4,000 or a $5,000 contract, that would be less significant. But $15,000 tells me something is going on here with an insider of the company or someone in the Trump administration or a banker that is doing a deal with the company. And we see that the expiration date is February 20th. So this has nothing to do with earnings because their earnings are after that date. And look at this, they're the $4 calls. So they're way out of the money because the stock was trading at $2.42 when they placed the trade. So I'm thinking they're expecting a big move because they chose the $4 calls instead of the $3 calls. And they placed the trade on New Year's Eve day. Okay, so when the guy placed the order, it was New Year's Eve. The market was closed the next day. And then look at this. On Friday the 2nd, which was the first day after it traded, it was up 9.68%. And now as I'm making the video, it's Sunday, January 4th, and it's down 0.37 after hours. So did I sell my call? No. And we will find that out in a few minutes. So the next thing I want to check is the options chain link for that expiration date, which is February 20th, 2026. And look at this. It checks out because the $4 strike has that guy's 16,000 right here in the open interest. And apparently there was another 10,000 on that Friday, which was the last trading day. And look at this, a $14,000 volume for the $3 strike and 13K open interest for the $3 strike. So this tells me something is brewing here. And I always like to see the volume convert into the open interest because sometimes you see the volume disappear the next day and it never converts into open interest. And this is probably because a spread or I don't know what it is. But because this turned into the open interest, I think it's more legit. And the last point that I want to make is that this $4 strike, which that guy placed, is only $15 per contract. So if you're a small investor and you only have $100 or $200, you could have placed that $100 and purchased about 7 of these contracts. That's the power of options. You only need $100 sometimes. And if you've never placed an option trade, go under my playlists tab and you're going to see one video there. How to trade options, calls and puts. There's only one video there. It's a 40-minute video. I specifically made this video and this playlist to teach people how to place their first option contract. And trust me, once you place one, you're going to figure it out very easily after a few orders. But like I said, only start with $100. And the stock has to be a low-priced stock, like a $2 stock, a $3 stock, a $4 stock. And I explain all of that in this video. Okay, so now let's look at the option call that I placed and my game plan until the February 20th expiration date, which the option alert guy placed, and what is my plan until that date and then after that date. Okay, so this is the trade that I placed. It's the $3 call way out in January 15th, 2027. And I'll explain more about that in a minute. And look at this. I'm already up 18%. However, it will probably trade down on Monday, which is tomorrow. So this 18% is not in the bank yet. But I could have sold it for 110, which would have put me at about 20% profit. And I purchased 6 contracts and I paid about 80 cents per one. So 8 times 6 is about $500. So the maximum amount I will put on this trade is about $2,000. So with the stock currently trading at $2.72, if it goes lower on Monday, I may add another few $100s. And if it hits the low of 230 or thereabouts, let's say 238, I will definitely load up more money. And like I said, the maximum I can go is about 2,000. But I don't think it'll ever go lower than 229 or let's say 223. And worst case scenario, 213. I don't think it'll ever go lower than that. So if it shoots up to $3 by February 20th, which was that expiration date of the big trade that guy placed, I will cash out because like I said, I'm trying to make 50 to 70 to 100% profit. And if it shoots up to here, which is 324, or let's say it shoots up to $4, I will definitely cash out because at that point, I will wait for a pullback. And if it shoots up to 3, I will cash out and wait for a pullback to about 280 and then rinse and repeat. So my trading range is from about 250 to about 325. This is where I want to rinse and repeat because after earnings, it may never go lower than 3. So the rinsing and repeating is from now until earnings. And the reason why I chose the January 15th, 27 expiration date is because I don't like playing with time. I don't like the time decay. And I'm definitely not going to follow the herd with that February 20th. I would rather pay a little bit more and buy this extra time. So instead of 15 cents, which I could have bought for the February 20th, I would have paid about 5 times more for the 65. That's just my style. That's how I like to do it. And as you saw, I was already up 18% on Friday. So I find that the more time you buy, you still make a very good percentage, which is double the percentage versus the stock move price, right? Because the stock moved 9.68%. I was up almost double that. That's the power of options. And that is my strategy. So, and as we see here, the next expiration date is January 21, 28. So, suppose April comes around and it's time to rinse and repeat again. I may choose this date. I don't know. We'll see. Because there may be drama with the midterms coming up with Trump, and there may be drama with the Fed not cutting. So, we're going to have to see. But I'm definitely eyeing this January 21, 28 expiration date because I'm going to be trading Encore for the next few years. So what do you think about the trade? What do you think about the stock? Are there any other stocks in this uranium sector that you like better? And I will keep you updated on this trade because I'm going to be trading Encore for the next several years. And I don't think I'm going to lose money on this trade because I have until 2027. I look forward to your comments and your likes and see you in a few days in the next video.